Good morning to all. Dear student, today going to start our biology class, chapter 14, the natural resources. Today in this chapter, we'll learn about the rain, water pollution, air pollution. Before starting our lesson or before starting the video, please be ready with your book. Rain. When water bodies are heated with solar radiation during the day, a large amount of water evaporates and goes into the air. Some amount of water vapor also goes into the atmosphere because of various biological activities such as transpiration by plants. The air carrying water vapors also get heated. This hot air rises up carrying water vapors with it. As the air rises, it expands and cools. This cooling causes the water vapor in the air to condense in the form of tiny droplets. Such process of condensation of water is facilitated when dust and other suspended particles act as the nucleus for these droplets to form around. An enormous collection of tiny droplets of water appears in the form of cloud. These droplets of water, once formed, slowly grow bigger by condensation of more water droplets. When the droplets have grown big and heavy, they fall down in the form of rain. Occasionally, when the temperature of air is very low, precipitation then may occur in the form of snow, sleet or hail. So, what is the rain, student? When the water bodies are become heated, then water are converted into the water vapor and is become light and it's rise up. In the up, it start cooling down. That means the condense and it's form a cloud. So gradually every day, every time more and more water vapor are rising up and condense on the top and form a clouds. With that, some dust materials, dust particles also rise up and it's collected together and form like a nucleus. When these droplets are collected more, it's become a heavy, then it's fall down in the form of a rain. That is a rain. Now, patterns of rainfall in India. Movement of air plays an important role in bringing rains in India. Due to its position, India lies in the region of trade wind, but due to its peninsular shape and differences in temperature and pressure, monsoon winds are prevalent in India. India receives most of the rain from the monsoon wind only. In summer season, southwest monsoon is active, while during winter season, northeast monsoon is active. The southwest monsoon blows in from sea to land. The hot air that rises over South Asia during April and May creates low pressure areas into which the cooler, moisture bearing wind from the Indian Ocean flows. These air circumstances set off a rush of moisture rich air from the southern sea over South Asia. The southwest monsoon occurs in the two branches. After breaking on the southern part of the peninsula in early June, the branch known as the Arabian Sea monsoon reaches Mumbai around June 10 and it has settled over most of South Asia by late June, bringing cooler but more humid weather. The other branch, known as Bay of Bengal monsoon, moves north yard in the Bay of Bengal and spread over most of Assam by the first week of June. On encountering the bearer of great Himalayan range, it is deflected westward along the Indo-Gangetic plain towards New Delhi. Thereafter, the two branches merge as a single current, bringing rains to the remaining part of North India in July. The withdrawal of the monsoon is a far more gradual process than its onset. It usually withdraws from northwest India by the beginning of October and from the remaining part of the country by the end of November. During this period, the northeast wind contributes to the formation of the northeast monsoon over the southern half of the peninsula in October. It is also known as retreating monsoon because it follows in the wake of southwest monsoon. The states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala receive most of their rainfall from the northeast monsoon during November and December. However, 80% of country receive most of its rainfall from the southwest monsoon from June to September. Intensity and periodicity of rainfall differ from region to region. As far as the amount of rainfall is concerned, India has 4 zones: wet zone, intermediate zone, semi-arid zone and arid zone. So here it's showing how the rainfall started, monsoon started. Okay. Now we'll learn about the air pollution. Air pollution is addition of air pollutants such as particulate matter, gases and vapors into the atmosphere that have an adverse effect on humans, animals, vegetation and human assets. In fact, air pollution is of two main types: natural, that is example forest fire, dust storm, pollen. Second, human made, burning of fossil fuel in industries, vehicles and thermoelectric plants, gases emission from industries, mining, processing, stone crushing, particulate air pollutants are also called suspended particulate matter or SPM because they remain suspended in air for a good period of time. SPM consists of smoke root produced when coal, wood, etc. is burned. Fly ash and dust, that is particles of silica, grit, lead, asbestos, cement, sulfur, etc. Gases that causes air pollution are sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen fluoride, chlorine, methane and ammonia. They are formed from nitrogen, sulfur and carbon compounds of fossil fuels and decaying organic matter. Pollutant vapors include unburned hydrocarbons. Effect of air pollution on human beings. SPM causes asthma, bronchitis and allergic cold. 2. Pollutant gases produce irritation in eyes, throat and lungs. They injure lungs, liver, kidney, spleen and nervous system. Heart diseases increase. Many persons get suffered by cancer. Hydrocarbon vapors not only damage internal organ but also produce cancer. Other effects of air pollution. Many injurious effects such as falling of leaves, reduced growth, degeneration of chlorophyll, mottling of leaves, etc. have been reported in plants. Lichens are found to be very sensitive to the level of contaminants such as sulfur dioxide present in polluted air. Further, SO2 reacts with water in the atmosphere to form sulfuric acid. This sulfuric acid is washed down into the soil by rain, where it may make the soil highly acidic, thus affecting the growth of plants and ultimately the forest growth. The acid rainfall severely affects the salmon production and fish yield and also eats into the surface of building, eroding the stone and brick walks. Air pollution also results in two serious ecological problems of global magnitude: greenhouse effect and peeling of ozone umbrella. The carbon dioxide of the atmosphere keeps the earth warm, much like the glass which keeps the greenhouse warm. This effect is called the greenhouse effect. The increase in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has intensified the greenhouse effect and has led to global warming. That is an increase in the average temperature of the earth. So what is a global warming? Day by day the temperature of the earth is increasing. So it is called the global warming. Because of that global warming, ice are melted in the Iceland, and due to that increasing in the water level also. Okay, so how this global warming cause? Due to the more carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, because carbon dioxide used to trap the sun heat, and when the carbon dioxide percentage will be more in the atmosphere, then more and more sun heat will be trapped, and due to that the earth temperature will be increasing. Okay, and these things have happened due to the air pollution. And how this air pollution goes? Already I told two ways. One is naturally, like sometimes forest fire and storm, like that. Because of that also air pollution cause. And sometimes due to the human activities like firewood, if they are using the fossil fire, then from their vehicles not servicing the vehicles properly, due to that the smoke will be come out, so this can pollute the air. Next is water, a wonder liquid. Water occupies a very large area of the earth's surface and is also found underground. Some amount of water exists in the form of water vapor in the atmosphere. Most of the water on earth's surface is found in seas and oceans and is saline. So water occupies the large area of a earth's surface, and you will find the water underground, means under the soil also. Some amount of water exists in the form of water vapor. So some amount of water are present in the form of air, that is the water vapor in the atmosphere. Most of the earth's surface was found, most of the water on the earth's surface is found in seas and oceans and is saline. Saline means it is salty in taste. Fresh water is found frozen in the ice cap at the two poles and on snow-covered mountains. So, fresh water where you will find in the frozen, in the ice form you will find in the ice cap at the two poles of the earth, and on covered in the form of a snow, it's covered the mountains. The underground water and the water in rivers, lakes and pond is also fresh. So underground water is also fresh. The water which you are getting in the river, lakes and ponds are also fresh. However, the availability of fresh water varies from place to place. Practically every summer, most places have to face a shortage of water, and in rural areas where water supply systems have not been installed, people are forced to spend considerable amount of time in fetching water from far away source. So during the summer season in India, many places they are facing the scarcity of the water. They have to bring the water from the very far away. Okay, but why is water so necessary? And do all organisms require water? Now question is there, why the water is so necessary and all organisms require the water? All cellular processes take place in a water medium. So all the cellular process means all the processes which are going on inside our body, they required a water medium to do their activities. Like whatever the food we are eating, nutrients required every part of our body. So we are taking the food and it goes to the stomach and start digestion there. Then how the nutrients will reach all the parts of the body? With the help of a water. It will supply all over the body. So for the cellular activities in our body, cellular process in our body, we require a water medium. All the reaction take place within our body and within the cells occurs between substance that are dissolved in water. Substances are also transported from one part of the body to the other in a dissolved form. Hence, organism needs to maintain the level of water within their bodies in order to stay alive. Terrestrial life forms require fresh water for this because their bodies cannot tolerate or get rid of the high amount of dissolved salt in saline water. Thus, water sources needed to be easily accessible for animals and plants to survive on land. After compiling the result of the above two activities, this here the two activities are given. Let's see. Activity 14.8. Select a small area near a water body. It may be a river, stream, lake or pond. Count the number of different animals and plants in this area. Also check the number of individuals of each type or species. Compare this with the number of individuals found in an area of the same size in a dry, rocky region. Is the variety of plants and animals' life the same in both these areas? So we have to do this activity. Next, second activity. Select and mark out a small area in some unused land in or near your school. As in the above activity, count the number of different animals and plants in this area and the number of individuals of each species. Remember to do this in the same place twice in a year, once during summer or the dry season and once after it has rained. Now answer, were the numbers similar both times? In which season did you find more variety of plants and animals? In which season did you find more numbers of individuals of each variety? After compiling the result of the above two activities, think if there is any relationship between the amount of available water and the number and variety of plants and animals that can live in a given area. If there is a relationship, where do you think you would find a greater variety and abundance of life in a region that receives 5 cm of rainfall in a year or a region that receives 200 cm of rainfall in a year? Find the map showing rainfall pattern in the atlas and predict which states in India would have the maximum biodiversity and which would have the least. Can you think of any way of checking whether the prediction is correct? The availability of water decides not only the number of individuals of each species that are able to survive in a particular area, but it also decides the diversity of life there. Of course, the availability of water is not the only factor that decides the sustainability of life in a region. Other factors like the temperature and nature of soil also matter, but water is one of the major sources which determines life on the earth. So, availability means how much the waters are available in a particular area. It decides not only the number of individuals of each species that are able to survive in a particular area, but it also decides the diversity of life form, means different types of animals or different types of organisms will be occur in that particular place. But thing is that not only the availability of the water is factor for the diversity of living organisms or getting the life forms in the particular area, but also the temperature and nature of the soils also matter there. But water is the one of the major sources which helps to determine the availability of all the diversity of living organisms on that particular land. Next one is the water pollution. Water dissolves the fertilizers and pesticides that we use on our farms. So, some percentage of these substances are washed into the water bodies. So, water can dissolve the fertilizers and pesticides which we are using in our farm, and some percentage of these substances are washed into the water bodies. Sometimes what happen when we are applying the fertilizers and pesticides on the field, when the heavy rainfall will come, that rainfall will carry some amount, some percentage of that fertilizers or pesticides with them, and that's enter the water bodies. Sewage from our towns and cities and the waste from factories are also dumped into rivers or lakes. Specific industries also used water for cooling in various operations and later return this hot water to water bodies. Another manner in which the temperature of the water in rivers can be affected is when water is released from them. The water inside the deep reservoir would be colder than the water at the surface, which get heated by the sun. All this can affect the life forms that are found in these water bodies in various ways. It can encourage the growth of some life forms and harm some other life forms. This affects the balance between various organisms which had been established in that system. So, we use the term water pollution to cover the following effect. So, how the water will be polluted? Sometimes due to the entry of the fertilizers and pesticides from the farm, sometimes sewage, waste materials will be come out from the factories and from our home also, waste waters that will be dumped into the water bodies that polluted the water. Hot waters also polluted the water and it's killed the organisms which are present in the water. So these all are polluting the water. And here we'll now learn what are the effects. Okay, water pollution to cover the following effects. The addition of undesirable substance to water bodies. This substance could be the fertilizer and pesticide used in farming, or they could be poisonous substance like mercury salt which are used by paper industries. This could also be disease causing organisms like the bacteria which cause cholera. Okay. The removal of desirable substance from water bodies. Dissolved oxygen is used by the animals and plants that live in water. Any changes that reduces the amount of this dissolved oxygen would adversely affect this aquatic organism. Other nutrients could also be depleted from the water bodies. So, organisms or animals or plants which are surviving under the water, they are taking the dissolved oxygen from the water. They are aspiring the dissolved oxygen from the water. When the chemicals or some undesirable substance will be enter into the water bodies, so it can decrease the level of the water which are present in the water, level of the oxygen which are present in the water. So it is very difficult for the living organism, aquatic organisms, to survive under the water, under the pollute water. Okay, they can, and it also reduce the amount of nutrient present in the water for that aquatic organisms. Number 3, it changes in temperature. Aquatic organisms are used to a certain range of temperature in the water body where they live, and a sudden marked change in this temperature would be dangerous for them or affect their breathing. The eggs and larvae of various animals are particularly susceptible to temperature changes. So suddenly temperature change can very much dangerous for the aquatic organism, because they lay the eggs under the water, and this heat increase in the temperature kill their larvae or damage their eggs. So it is very much dangerous for the aquatic animals. Okay, so student, this much for today's class. In the next class we'll learn more about this chapter, natural resources. Here are some home assignment questions for you. Write down the answer and send me in the Google Classroom. Thank you and have a nice day.